Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I just have a little brief intro to do before we introduce our speaker. Okay, so my name is Melissa, and I'm the program coordinator of the incubator program that is a part of the Innovation Quarters. So a little bit about the Innovation Quarters. So we offer a 6-month-long incubator program that helps new startups receive one-on-one mentoring, programming and training, networking events, and a collaborative workspace. As you can see in some of the photos on our slide here. Our quarters are also open to the public, so that can give you and your team access to come work out of the space, rent desk space, meeting rooms, and more, which is really great. And so you can apply to the program or inquire about our co-working options at innovationquarters.ca, or walk in, come visit us in person. We're at 43 Elm Street, and our space is open from 8:30 to 4:30. You can come by and just say hi. And our co-host for today is the Regional Business Center. They are a one-stop shop for information and guidance on starting, expanding, and operating a business. They serve the Greater Sudbury, Espanola, Manitoulin Island, and surrounding areas, and they include services like confidential one-on-ones, business plan support, market research, business registration, and more. So if you want to start a business and you don't know how, or you have a business and you have questions about permitting or any other type of question, you can book that one-on-one consultation with them and visit their website at regionalbusiness.ca. And they also accept walk-ins as well at 200 Breda Street, which is Tom Davies Square. We have a few really great upcoming events happening. Today's event is our last event for December before the holidays. But in January, we have how to develop a product from idea to commercialization. And that's going to be with Dawson from Sudbury Windows and Doors. They've actually invented doors as like a specific type of door that we're all going to find out about how you just come up with an idea and how you get it manufactured, etc. It's going to be really great. We have our entrepreneurship series, which is a rotating 5 webinars. So we have 2 of them happening in January on exploring and starting a small business. And then on January 23rd, we have where to reach your customers and how to keep them. We are in communication with the speaker, so we're going to confirm that ASAP, but it's going to be really about client retention. So that's also going to be a really great topic for everybody. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker today, Lynne Dupuis of LMDSolutions. So LMDSolutions is an award-winning bilingual consultancy that supports businesses, boards, and leadership teams by providing effective and efficient training, tools, systems, and structures to support the work they do and their organizations. And Lynne is the founder of that business, and she brings a wealth of experience and deep understanding of the Francophone community's needs through her consulting work with numerous nonprofits across Ontario. Lynne has sat on several boards, including the Health Sciences North, Yes Theatre, Greater Sudbury Utilities, and currently sitting with the Greater Sudbury Chamber of Commerce Board. And Lynne holds a master's degree in applied sociology from Laurentian University and has pursued a PhD in applied sociology at the University of Montreal, reflecting her deep commitment to her field. So, welcome, Lynne. I will stop sharing my screen. Lynne, if you want to go ahead and start sharing yours.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Wow, what an intro. Thanks. It's so funny to hear your bio said to you. I love it. Welcome, everybody. I think now you should be able to see.
So we are seeing, if you just want to swap it to like full screen mode, because we're just seeing like the Canva background.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries.
There you go.
There we go.
This is better?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I'm learning Teams, everybody. So talk about learning tools. Thanks for being there, everybody. So today what we're going to be doing is talking about workflow beyond the to-do list. So I'm going to go into that in a little bit. I'd like to do an acknowledgement. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're meeting on Indigenous lands today that we have been inhabited by Indigenous people from the beginning. As settlers, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet here, wherever you are. And we thank all of the generations of people who have taken care of the land for thousands of years. I'd like to also thank the Regional Business Center and the Innovation Quarters for the invitation. It's a pleasure. I've benefited from the Regional Business Center and the Innovation Quarters. I've been to, but they were not there when I started my business. But the Regional Business Center was a great asset. So thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to give back to this to all of the entrepreneurs here today. Introductions. So you are all on the chat or listening in right now. So thanks for being there. We can't do introductions necessarily, but if you want in the chat, you can say where you're from, who you are, what your business type is, and I'll check that out as it's scrolling through. So as you're listening, feel free to introduce yourselves. For myself, I was already introduced with such a good bio there that talked about where I've been. So I'm a solutions-driven person. I was always meant, I think, for the entrepreneur world. I always found a way to do things. I was a young parent and I had 8 years of post-secondary education, as you heard. Some people like to call me a sociologist. I have experiences in senior management level. I have 12 years of successful entrepreneurship at this point, coach and governance professional. I've been on boards and I still am. And for those who want to know, I'm a professional hand clapper. You can see in the photo there, I was in studio and it's one of my highlights, the highlights of my career. The practical application of the work that I do, I've been supporting individuals, businesses, and organizations by offering tools and resources and my experience to help them achieve sustainable change. I've spent countless time researching and understanding and working with clients to develop the model that we're going to look at today. So this is a brand new model that we developed over the last year or so, that it's going to explain everything about workflow and proper planning and implementation and results. So we're going to talk about that. I don't want to go too much into it. So my intention today for you, we're going to be discussing the concept of workflow and planning and stress reduction. Stress reduction, we all know about that. Task organization and efficiency. We're going to learn how to make better decisions and reduce confusion and feel in control. We're going to look at things that help to set clear priorities and manage your time to achieve long-term goals. We're going to talk about things like organizing your workflow so tasks and roles and processes are more clear and efficient. And we'll be staying on track by looking at results using metrics and reviews to ensure continuous improvement. Now, today we're going to be moving beyond tasks, though. I'm not going to be showing you Excel sheets and showing you project management tools and showing you how to enter those things. What we are going to do is look at the process and why things are working or not working for you, and we're going to look at the pain points that exist. So, if you can relate to these in here, some of you might be already excelling in your workflow, and I'm super happy for you. And you might be coming here to validate what you're already doing well, and I love that for you, and I love that for me as well. But some of you might be struggling to get it all done, and which is normal because we're all entrepreneurs and we do it all, and we have to be able to manage that. All right, so here's some questions. Are you giving up on tasks because they just seem overwhelming? I've done that. I'd be like, okay, that's tomorrow's problem. I don't have to deal with that today. Is your team not pulling their weight? Do you have a team yet? Or maybe a future team, and you can imagine you'd like them to all be on board? Well, sometimes it doesn't work. Are you buying several journals or project management tools that don't even get used the way that you really want to achieve the results that you really want? All right, so we talk about, looking at this, the title is Going Beyond the To-Do Lists and the Project Management, and why project management tools are not the end-all be-all, and we'll talk about that. Are you up at night wondering if things are getting done, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you could be somebody in upper management level as well. Are things getting done? Is your team on track? Are you achieving the results that you're trying to achieve? The real problem is not your ability to use workflow tools, okay? I'm not going to talk about those tools necessarily today. I'm going to talk to them about them after. I won't be explaining how to properly plan out a project either, okay? Using project management apps are super important in what you're going to see in a little bit, but these things you can Google and you can watch YouTube videos and you can learn how to input tasks into those apps. And so what really is the issue is something far deeper than that, okay? In planning and making sure that our workflow is working. Even organizations with the best laid plans, or even businesses that get results, will sometimes struggle in that process, all right? So we want to talk about that today. As we go through the webinar, try to focus on your business or your role or your organization and how you can relate. And we're going to go through a worksheet later. So I'm going to send in the chat a link to a worksheet you're going to get, and then we're going to reflect on that as well during this webinar. So there are three truths, hard truths that I've learned over the last 20 years and working with teams and supporting them for the last 12 years with my business. Journaling and manifesting your goals or manifesting during a meeting won't lead to actionable tasks and results. All right, we can journal all we want, but what happens after? What happens after that? You can have all the best ideas. Motivation comes from clarity, all right, not good intentions. So if you're feeling unmotivated in those to-do lists, those workflows, those business development ideas, sometimes clarity can be examined, and we'll talk a lot about that later. And being busy isn't the only reason you're not achieving your goals. I'm busy, all right? We all are all busy, and we achieve goals regardless, all right? Sometimes I'm going to go back to clarity, but there are some elements that you need to look at, and some pain points that you need to look at, as why are we not achieving X, Y, Z? And it's not because we're not busy, or it's not because we are busy. I can give an example here. We had a meeting with a client once, and they asked me, we have solid plans, and we have policies, and we have procedures, and we have good committees, and we have good teams, and people know, you know, they work hard. But what makes that one business succeeds and follows their plan and achieves the results and has good engagement within their team, and ours that seems to be chaotic at this time? We don't have it together. And she really made me pause to reflect, because my job is, you know, creating strategic plans and working with businesses and organizations. And, you know, it started this process for me that once you leave an organization with their strategic plan, what happens after? And what happens after they have their policies and procedures? It really made me think about why they were maybe struggling as opposed to others that weren't. And the real problem is actually deeper than having the plans and the policies. And it includes 4 pillars that we're going to look at in a little bit in the model that we've developed. And without all 4, you're at risk of not following through to achieve the results that you're trying to achieve. So you came here today to learn about going beyond the to-do list and unlocking the power of strategic alignment, and, you know, looking at how you can increase your workflow and so on. And this webinar will move past that past just the organization of tasks, right? Because as an entrepreneur, yes, we have a lot of tasks. And as business owners, we have a lot of things on our plate. But how do we make sure that we're tackling them properly? It focuses on aligning efforts strategically to ensure sustainable business growth. So again, it focuses on aligning the effort that you're putting out strategically to ensure sustainable business growth. You're going to learn today to diagnose your pain points. All right. We're going to get true. We're going to get real. And you're going to be able to look at your process and see what's missing. What in those 4 elements that I'm going to talk about, what's missing, and how can we move beyond just having a checklist and see what's actually happening when things are not getting done. All right. We're going to go beyond that. And we're going to get clear on a process that you can follow to make sure that you're aligning your tasks and your goals to achieve the results that you want. So where do you need to put the most attention to make sure your workflows are flowing? That's super important. Because as a business owner, when you're developing your business, it's like there are 100 priorities. Where should I tackle the most out of that and to make things flow better, right? I hope that you'll leave today with a better understanding of that model that I'm going to present to you, and also insights on where you can tweak some of your processes. All right, you're going to get a worksheet. Again, I mentioned that earlier. I'm going to give you a link in a little bit to take some action immediately when you get out of here. You'll be able to start the process wherever you are, in bed tonight or at your desk or curled up in a ball somewhere, where we usually find all entrepreneurs at some point in their process. All right. So the model that I've developed, all right, is something that that we developed at LMDSolutions over the last year or so, after having worked a long time with organizations, businesses, teams, and coaching and understanding what's missing. So we're going to look at some little things that happen when we're developing a project, or we're developing an organization or a business. All right. We're going to look at the knowledge that we have. You know, starting a business, we do it because there's a need, and there's something that we know needs fixing, or that we want to develop, or a product. And sometimes what happens is that knowledge piece of developing a business is shaky, right? I've started a business on the fact that I just didn't want to work in a 9-to-5 anymore, but I didn't know anything about developing a business. So I've learned over the past 12 years. And so we'll talk about that. Okay, the knowledge piece, and then the planning. So what are these planning apps? What do we need to plan? What do we need to think about when we're developing the business, and why do we need to have those plans that we are often asked to start, like as business plans or policies and procedures and things like that? And then the implementation process. So that's really important, as I was mentioning earlier with that client who asked me what makes us not achieve what we're trying to achieve, but we have all the plans and all the policies and all the procedures. And it's the implementation. What happens after you create that, and how do you equip your team with the proper implementation plans? And then the results is the next piece. So we'll talk about that. How are you achieving the results, and what are you doing with them? It's more than just task management. It's more than to-do lists, because I can have a to-do list that is 100 miles long, and it's still unclear as to how I'm going to get it all accomplished, and if I'm prioritizing the right things. All right. We're going to look at those friction points and why it might be a challenge. All right, so we're going to look at the model in just a little second. When you look at it, when you see it, it's going. I'm going to take some time to explain it to you, okay? There's going to be 3 slides, and we're going to go through 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to have a better understanding, all right? All right. Here we go. Here she is in all her glory. This is the engagement framework, okay? I started by calling it an engagement framework because what we were seeing in teams and businesses and organizations was a lack of engagement, all right? A lack of follow through. And people were feeling lost, and people were leaving. People were leaving jobs or projects or disengaged, and people were not achieving the results that they were trying to achieve. And again, why did some succeed and why not some not succeed? And when I developed this the model, I sat down with my coworker and we sat down and I got to explain to her what I've been seeing for the last 12 years and then some, because I've been in this field for 20 years, really, as a, before I started the business. And the model here is what we came up with. And we did something revolutionary here. All right. We added emotions. All right. So you see here, there's emotions that are brought up in this model, and no one puts emotions in business planning tools. There's no emotions in business, right? I think that that's a joke, really, because as a person who coaches and goes into businesses and goes into organizations and speaks with leadership, I see it time and time again where workflows are mostly affected by feelings. Okay, like there are I will sit in an office with a leadership, whether it's a business or an organization or whatnot, and it's like a therapy session, right? There are hundreds of feelings that pop up in a meeting: anxiety, uncertainty, feeling stuck. Our team's just not going forward. They're confused. I'm confused. I don't feel efficient. So there's a lot of feelings, and I really wanted to use that in a model and to see where those feelings land in the planning process. The planning process that you see here is pretty straightforward. All right, you've got a knowledge seeking base, you've got direction, you've got structure, and you've got results. So when we're talking with teams and when we're talking with businesses and business owners who are trying their best to manage these things, we're going through the business plan, but we're also talking about feelings. And we kind of started associating certain feelings to certain levels of the business planning process. And we wanted to pinpoint where those feelings fit in to the cycle, all right? And we did. We developed this model, and it's working on every level, all right? We've been sharing it with so many people, and within many of these webinar types things and conferences, and everybody has this visceral feeling that, yes, that's where I am, or this is where I need to be, or we're not achieving such and such a thing. So when you're going through this, and there's 3 pages, so hang on, you'll get a better sense. So how does this work? So at the base here, we have knowledge. All right, we have knowledge, and that means really understanding your roles, responsibilities, what the business does, what your market does. Starting a business is overwhelming, all right? And if you dive deep into the knowledge piece, really understanding, if you work with your team and they really, really understand their roles and responsibilities and they go for it, they're going to feel competent, and you're going to feel competent, right? If you have proper training, if they have good orientation, if they have the information that they need, you're going to feel competent. And that is pivotal in the development of this process, all right? In the next one is direction, and direction is planning, documents, policies, procedures. How are you developing the direction and ensuring focus for your team. I feel focused. You know, when you've taken on a task and you know where you're going, you can break down walls as much as you have the energy to achieve what you're trying to achieve, right? Because nothing is going to stop you. You know how, because you have the knowledge and you have the direction, you know where you have to go, right? So that focus is what we're looking for when you're working with your team, or when you're developing your own plan. You want to know where you're going, right? So that is a big element. The structure is the implementation. All right. How are you taking these strategic plans and these business plans and creating work plans and ensuring that everybody knows what their roles and responsibilities are when they're moving forward? Knowing that everybody has a good work plan and a solid direction will give you confidence. It'll give you confidence, and it'll give your team confidence that they feel confident that somebody's leading. First of all, they feel confident that they know where to go. They've probably had good direction and they feel competent because they know how to get there. And then this here, it speaks for itself. You're going to feel confident in that structure. All right. The results after that are going to give you satisfaction. And the results don't have to be positive. All right. Results you can get negative results or positive results. You can get sales, clicks on your website, more engagement in your social media. You can get people coming into your stores, more clients, whatever the results are. If there's an uptick, that's fantastic. If there's a downtick in all of those things, that's information. It's still going to be satisfying if you're measuring it properly and utilizing it to see this feedback loop. We created this because once you get those results, you're not going to stop. You're going to come back and say, do we need to fix things, or do we need to learn more to give new direction, new work plans, implementation, and then to achieve results? So there's a feedback loop, all right, here. That's very important. We don't stop once we get to where we need to go. A strategic plan, for instance, here, if an organization or a business is making a strategic plan or a business plan, it's very important to be able to structure, to implement that plan, and to get results. Because if we're not getting the results, let's see what happens. We go to the next screen here, and maybe you're feeling like this. All right. Here we see what happens when we don't get what these 4 pillars. All right. The lack of knowledge. So if you have a lack of knowledge, let's say you're onboarding new employees or you're starting a project and you don't have the knowledge, the information, the understanding, you're going to feel confusion. Whether it's you, your team, your board, your clients, even if they are not well informed, there will be confusion. All right. So this confusion here, when you're talking about workflows, is at the base of that workflow. You need to make sure that everybody understands. If not, there's confusion. And if there's confusion, you're going to have anxiety. All right. I love the use of the feelings. All right. Because have you ever sat in an office where they asked you to do something and you have no idea? Like, you didn't learn this in your BA, or you didn't learn this in the orientation that they told you in that 5-minute orientation you got, or in the policy and procedure that you scrolled through to get through. You know, you're going to sit there with some confusion and you're going to feel anxious in your office. And you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this, right? So this is an important factor in the whole process of the workflow. You can have all of the planning possible, But if you don't have common understanding of where or what you need to be doing, you're going to have some challenges, and you could get some disengagement at this point with your staff or with yourself, right? If you don't know and you're in your office, like sitting like this, and you don't know how to function, you're going to disengage. You're going to be like, that's tomorrow's problem. And I'm going to go have a coffee because, coffee is a solution for everything. The next one is lack of direction. All right. So we can know a lot of things, but we didn't take time to plan it out. We didn't strategically plan. We don't have policies and procedures, and we're going to feel static when that happens. All right. We're going to feel like we're not moving fast enough. We're not moving in the same direction. We're not all going towards the plan that we talked about, which if you didn't plan it properly, that could be all in your head. As an entrepreneur, we do that. We sit in our head a lot. All right. We put it on paper, put it in a plan, put it in a tool. This is where the apps come in, or the work plans come in. Try to put it in somewhere so that you understand and you have that direction, and you don't feel static and you don't feel stuck, because there's nothing worse than not knowing how to move forward. All right. We go to the regional business center, we go to the innovation quarters, we follow our mentors, we probably listen to Instagram reels on how to move forward in our business. You're here maybe today because you want to know how to move forward. The secret is to plan, is to break it down. There's no magic, okay, to entrepreneurship and building processes and building projects. It's really getting clear. Remember earlier I said motivation comes from clarity? Clarity will make you move. Clarity here will make you not stuck. All right, so think about that part. Lack of structure is the uncertainty. All right, are things getting really done? As a leader, as a business owner, are things actually getting accomplished? Did I create a work plan? Is everybody aware of their work plan? Did I establish proper roles and responsibilities? Did I delegate properly? Oh, delegating for me is a hard one, all right, because I like to do things on my own, but delegating is very important if you can, if you have a team. If you don't, then you really have to make sure that you're mapping out a work plan. If not, you're going to feel uncertain. And here is where you're going to start to disconnect. If you're not following the plan that you had established and don't feel clear and don't feel certain that you're going to move in the right direction, you're going to start to disconnect, and you're going to start to put it aside. All right. I did my PhD, or I started my PhD, and I did not finish it. Not because of this, but for other reasons. When you're doing a PhD, it's very solid. It's very solo work, a lot like an entrepreneur. You do things all by yourself. And when you don't have a proper work plan and nobody's there to bring you along, aside from your director who is busy doing other things, you're going to disconnect, and you're probably going to go and do other things. All right. Same with entrepreneurship. How many times have you said, this is why the incubator program is awesome. The incubator program for innovation quarters. This is why you have these mentors. You have people helping you with implementation. All right. Here's a little plug for the innovation quarters. If you're feeling stuck, they're gonna help you with that structure and those plans. All right. Super important. Results, lack of results. Remember earlier I said they can be good results or bad results. If you don't have any results, you're gonna feel ineffective. You're gonna feel like, I'm doing all of this for nothing. Whether or not you need to up your results, or whatever, you still need to know that you're achieving something. Your team needs to know if they're achieving something. Your team needs to know that what they're doing is helping. They need to feel that. Because earlier we saw that having results brings you satisfaction. Here it makes you feel ineffective and may you feel inadequate. As a business owner, if you're not seeing results after a year or 6 months or 3 years, you're going to feel inadequate. All right. Super important that we go after those results, whether it's financial results, whether it's metrics that you're trying to measure, whether it's new clients or ticks on your website or people watching your reels or Facebook interaction, whatever, sales and people coming into your stores, whatever that is, measure it. And then you can use the feedback loop here to go back and reassess. All right, we got these results in 2023. We did this feedback loop, we replanned, we rejigged, we set our mindset to achieve different results. Now we went ahead and we did that. So you're going to feel a lot better. Now, it's important to note that you can stay here. All right, you can stay. It's okay that you're going to be feeling confusion and static. We all do. All right, this business is 12 years old and I still have those days, right? It's okay, but it's important not to move it towards anxiety or feeling stuck or disconnecting or feeling inadequate. All right, so what do we need to do? Here are some of those solutions. All right, we've worked with clients and businesses and organizations, and what they need and what we can offer is support to get them out of this column here of confusion and static and uncertainty and ineffectiveness, to help them by implementing these solutions to make them feel, again, competent, focused, confident, and satisfied. So education, training, onboarding, mentorship, information sharing, brainstorming sessions, whatever it is, we want to implement that. All right. So often I will go into a board or a leadership team and I'll do training on, on their policies, on their procedures, on what they're there for, vision, mission statements, all that stuff, because they need to be all on the same page and understand each other's roles and responsibilities so that they understand where they fit within the organization, within the business. All right. And for yourself, that's understanding your market, understanding, who your clients are, who your sector is, and who your competition is, all of that kind of information seeking that you could be doing at this point if you're developing a business plan. All of that is going to lead to a feeling of understanding and competency, whereas at the beginning of that process, it's very confusing and there's a lot of information that you need to digest, right? This lack of direction here, adding planning. So a strategic plan, a business plan, policies, procedures, how you're going to function as an organization or a business, it's going to lead you back to some focus. All right, when we know where we're going, we can go through walls, okay? We can break through and get to where we need to go. So this here is super important. The lack of structure is, I think for us as consultants on the outside, is the biggest piece. All right, for us, creating a strategic plan and having the knowledge and having the policies and procedures, or having, your business, where you want to go and so on, even your financials, that is important and it's the base. But having the implementation and knowing what to do with it after is where we find ourselves applying solutions. And in the implementation phase is where you're going to find those work plans and ensuring everybody understands where they need to go and how you're going to do it and how you're going to measure and how you're going to know if you're doing a good job or not. Okay, so that is going to give you back your confidence in the implementation. So when you're planning out your workflow and your to-do lists and your business plan, you're going to want to make sure that you're evaluating these 4 elements, okay? And am I taking, if I'm feeling stuck, why am I feeling stuck? It's probably because my plan is not specific enough, not clear enough. If I'm feeling anxious, maybe it's because there's something I don't know. And that has happened to me over and over again. The anxiety that you're feeling in your stomach or your pit or your, your head. Is there something that you could need some clarification on? Go to the regional business center or go to the innovation core or go see mentors or consultants to support you. Get out of that feeling of being stuck, right? All right, so lack of results, it's going to make you feel ineffective. You're going to want to do some monitoring, all right? Are you monitoring your budgets? Are you monitoring your metrics? Are you monitoring your things in your business to make sure that you're evaluating that success and the results? So that is where you're going to come back to satisfaction. All right. If you have questions right now, this is the end of the solutions model. Okay. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the chat or to my email will be up at the end of this as well. So please feel free to email me at some point if you have any questions related to this. We're not done though. We do need to talk about tools. What is going to help you in the implementation of all of this? Why do you need to have business tools or office tools or whatnot? So here is a big slide with the 4 pillars and the tools that you could be using. All right. So in the knowledge aspect of everything, when you're planning out that workflow, make sure that you have training and orientation for your staff. Make sure that you have documents, policies, procedures, worksheets, whatever you need to make sure that they understand their roles, responsibilities, yourself as well. Go out and get that. Knowledge gap analysis. It is what it is. It's self-explanatory. A knowledge gap analysis is pretty much saying, what's missing in our team? What can we go get? Let's figure this out. All right. Brainstorming sessions. Don't underestimate communication. All right. I will see this time and time again where things fall through the cracks, and it's simply because we didn't talk to each other. It's so simple. Let's have brainstorming sessions. Let's meet on a regular basis and communicate. And that will help increase your knowledge base for you, for your staff, for your board, or whoever you're dealing with. Peer-to-peer learning is super important. Like that mentorship aspect, creating groups. You don't understand, go ask somebody who knows and share that information. Coaching, you can have a consultant come in explaining the process, and then formal education. All right. Starting a business, let me tell you, okay, if I was to go back, I'm a sociologist. Okay. I have 8 years of post-secondary education. I would go back in a heartbeat to do business education. Okay. Formal education in that sector would be fantastic. I would have saved maybe some time in my process had I had formal education in business, but I didn't, because most entrepreneurs go into entrepreneurship with a solution to somebody's problem, not necessarily because you went to business school. All right. And so we have these solutions that we can offer to people. And then we were like, well, yeah, let's go into business and hire me. But then nothing follows. So you are hired, and then, you don't have all of these things in place. And it happens, and it's fine. It'll get done. But now knowing this, you could be like, oh, this is why I'm possibly struggling right now, right? This is maybe what's missing. So the next one is direction. So those business plans, all right, formal processes or policies, if you have a team or an office, that it can be chaotic very quickly if you don't have policies and procedures. People are making decisions for themselves. That happens. Make sure that in your process, in your workflow, did you think about a really solid strategy? All right. Did you think about ensuring project management tools? All right. This is where they fit in, right? Again, I'm not going to go through how to manage these project management tools. This is where they would fit in. All right. In this direction and structure. All right. Financial reports. This is where you're going to want that direction. Budgets is in the next one, right? here in structure, oops, sorry, we have workflows and resource allocation. What's happening at this point, right? At the roles and responsibilities, who's going to be doing what when, all right? In your work plans, that's going to be super important. Process mapping, all right, here we have a new employee coming in. Do we know what they're going to be doing on a regular basis, or would we just hire somebody because we need somebody in that seat, right? And they don't understand their process or why they're in the organization. So that's super important. Between knowledge, giving them direction, and giving them their process, very important. And then role clarity and delegation is important. The CRM could be there too. Like if you're taking in clients, put them in a system, then you can easily follow up with these people, right? That's where that would fit in, right? Work plans with deliverables. The deliverables are so important for a team to understand. And then budgets. Budgets will help you navigate the rest of your of the work. For the results, the tools that you could be using are data tracking systems. Are you tracking metrics? There's not a successful business, I think, personally, that I've run into that doesn't track, that doesn't understand their numbers, that doesn't understand what's like this month we did, you know, we're up this month or we're down this month, and what's happening, and understanding and tracking those things is going to give you so much insight. And in that feedback loop that we talked about, will let you go understand what you need to go like where you need to go to understand more about, you know, the gaps or what's missing or why we're down this month, what's happening. So data tracking systems, and then progress reviews, weekly, monthly, yearly, whenever you want to track this, whenever you need to understand your progress, your results. You're going to feel a lot more confident knowing that every month you're going to be looking at this. It's going to be satisfying. Whether your results are good or bad, you're going to know. And knowledge is power. Remember earlier, motivation is with clarity. It's this kind of this thing too. It kind of works here as well. If you're clear, if you're understanding your metrics, if you're understanding everything, you're going to be motivated to find solutions, or, you know, to move the needle forward. Financial updates, surveys, engagement. Do you understand your clients? Do you understand your staff? Do you understand the sector? So those are important metrics that you can be calculating and gathering as well, and analyzing to better understand the results that you're getting. And then evaluation and reporting. So that's those are the tools that I would suggest, but are not limited to these 4 categories that we talk about. All right. Now, again, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I know there's a question and answer period after, but please feel free to put them in the chat. I can see things pop up as they go. I am going to put the worksheet. Hold on a minute. I need to get the worksheet for you. I can't click on this. Hold on, please. I'm going to get this for you. Please hold. I don't know how to get out. Aha, here we go. Please excuse me and my singing. All right. I'm going to go back into the presenter mode. All right, now you should see this. And in the chat, I'm going to put the worksheet there. And if you are, oh, I see some questions now. Okay. All right, sorry, I wasn't, the chat wasn't scrolling, so I wasn't seeing anything. Good apps that would help with brainstorming sessions where everybody can meet virtually to discuss ideas. Yeah, there's Teams and Zoom. You could do a Google document, you know, if you want to work on your own time. I've seen that. I've used that actually. And, you know, a shared document sometimes will help in that sense. If you're using project management tools, there could be some chats or some document sharing there as well. Not everybody has, yeah, you said not everybody has access to those. I'm assuming that if you're working virtually, that you do have access to some kind of document like that, document sharing and so on. But that's a great question. I would use the good old communication together and chatting about what you need to brainstorm about. Mural Co, yes, we've used that as well for virtual collaboration tools. Perfect. I love the sharing of everybody on here. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so you can have access to that worksheet if you check in the chat, but I'm going to go through it anyway. So here you go. In Knowledge, you're going to find the one-pager worksheet in the PDF. I hope it's working. Can you please confirm that it's working, that link? Anybody can just give me... It works. Perfect. All right. So in the knowledge piece, so we went through a lot of information now. Okay. What important information or skills do you and your team, or you as an entrepreneur, or whoever you're working with, what's holding you back? You know, is there a piece of information like, oh, I really wish I knew more about budgets? You know, I really wish I knew more about these project management apps. And those things, you can put that on the back burner for a long time before moving forward on it. What's holding you back? Do you have a clear understanding of your industry, your market, your processes, what gaps exist in your team's knowledge? Should you do some orientation? Maybe even a lunch and learn about, you know, brainstorming or looking at your vision and mission and what you're all about or whatnot. So sharing, you know, with your team. And do you and your team have common understanding of what needs to be done? Very big. You know, these are easy, these are simple questions. They might look simple, but they're not. You know, they're very important in that knowledge piece because it is the foundation of what you're going to need to move the needle forward in your business. If you're, you know, making a lot of plans in your head as a business owner and you're not sharing them and then expecting results, you're going to be disappointed, right? You're going to be disappointed with that. And it's important to share, have those knowledge sharing pieces so that everybody's on the same page. If you're looking at direction, okay, are your goals and priorities clearly defined and aligned with your long-term vision? As an entrepreneur, as a leader, as whoever you are right now in front of me right now, think about how have you broken down your goals and priorities? You know, you can have a goal of making, you know, $100,000 next year as a business owner. Sure, but break that down. What does it mean? Do you have a monthly goal? Do you have a way that you're going to achieve this? Do you have a plan in place, a strategy? Do you have, you know, are you taking in clients? What do you need to do? So your goals and priorities need to be clear. Remember, clarity equals motivation. Motivation is going to make you break walls. And so we need that in this session. Okay, so here are some questions that you can ask yourself, all right? The next one is structure. Is your team, project, or workflow structured in a way that supports efficiency and success? So we've talked a lot about that. Do you have clear roles and responsibilities within your team? Does everybody work based off of a work plan? Is it clear? Are there any processes that you feel unclear about or redundant or disorganized? So think about those things when you're looking through the work sheet and jot down, do some brainstorming, and then bring back that information to your team. The next one is results. How do you measure success? And are you tracking meaningful progress towards goals? And that is part of workflow. All right, super important to bring you back to what you need to move forward if there's something missing, if there's a gap there, okay? What metrics or milestones do you use to evaluate? How often do you review your progress? And are you satisfied with the results that you're getting? Okay. And that is it for my presentation. So we can go into a Q&A. I don't know, Melissa, if you wanted to go into that now. Here is, by the way, here's all my socials is LMDSolutions. You can find me on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. And my email is Lynne@LMDSolutions. So there you have it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to, I think that's it. There you go.
Thank you so much, Lynne. That was a very good and inspiring presentation. I hope everybody today feels inspired to go ahead and start planning in a way that's going to really ensure you're successful at what you do. So again, thank you. So we do have some questions coming in. We are running out of time, so maybe we'll just take 3 questions maximum, but we'll start with the first one here. What's the best way to balance success, work-life balance?
Oh boy. I wish I knew. You know, I really strongly believe that work-life balance is in that stress, in the lack of, like, if we can clarify things and we can make things clearer and less stressful, and if we can feel less stuck in our business, I think that this really helps you prioritize what's important. And that feeling of, like, if you can feel well with what's happening in your business and you can follow these 4 elements, you're going to feel like you can make time for other things. I think, don't get me wrong, I don't have work balance figured out 100%, and I built the model, but I think that it can help. All right. So I hope that it does.
Glad to hear. And I've actually heard somebody else say that they actually book in their personal time into their calendar too, to make sure it doesn't get missed.
Yeah, it's harder than I find it hard sometimes to listen to my calendar, because I'll be like, oh, somebody needs, a new client. A new client's coming in. Oh, I guess this one is the most flexible time. But then we suffer because we are stressed and we don't take that time.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so are there lots of opportunities? If there are lots of opportunities, how to best focus on only one thing? Any strategies?
Ooh. Well, I just outed myself there, because if a new client comes up, I'm usually on it. But I think getting clear and focusing, your understanding what you're trying to achieve. And that took me a long time. As a business owner, I have various, I guess, variations of my business, and how I came to have my business as it is now took time. You really need to take on different things to see what you like and what you don't like. And when a lot of opportunities come, it's an opportunity for you to try out and to weed out the things that you don't want to do. So I think taking on different projects and trying will give you clarity later on, because you'll learn to say no to things very fast when you've tried it and said, I shouldn't have taken that. So I think it comes with time and developing your really what your value proposition as your business is. It's very important. So that's part of the knowledge piece, right? And the direction piece. So very important.
Great point, Lynn. And it can be hard to focus, right?
Yeah,
Especially when we have
there's
so
good
much going on.
movies and coffee dates and outings, and everybody's putting on wonderful events. So we want to go to all those things, but we also need to prioritize taking the time, and sometimes, honestly, going out to an event will bring you back with some refreshed resources, like, or information, or you talk to somebody at the business center, or you talk to somebody at an event, or a conference or something. So don't forget to do that as well, right? So just adding to your list of things to do.
And our final question is your email the best way to reach you? Hello, bonjour at lmdsolutions.ca.
Yeah, you can email me at that. You can also email me if you want directly, and sometimes sometimes people want that as well. I'm just going to type it in. So there's my email. And you can do hello, bonjour as well. So I'll get it either way.
And for those who are listening in, Lynne's email is lynne@lmdsolutions.ca.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
Oh, what a
again,
pleasure.
thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I love talking about this. If ever anybody else wants this for your business or for your organizations and you want to need to talk to your team, sometimes it's easier when a third party talks to your team. Please reach out and I'll be happy to look at that.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to be sending out a short survey and as well with the recording of today's session. And Lynne, if you're okay, we can also include the worksheet in that email that you shared here. Perfect. Okay. All right. Look forward to hearing some feedback from everybody and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.